The coordinated effort among Nordic and Baltic states to jointly procure the CV90 infantry fighting vehicle marks a quiet revolution in modern defense organization. What is taking shape is not merely a shared purchase of hardware, but the early phase of a new regional defense model, a distributed military-industrial ecosystem optimized for interoperability, cold climate warfare, and collective deterrence against regional threats. In a European neighborhood where Russia's proximity is existential rather than theoretical, these countries are converging on the belief that survival depends not on unilateral strength, but on integrated capability. The CV90 itself is an emblem of this emerging doctrine. Developed by Hägglunds in Sweden, the platform has evolved over decades into a highly mature and thoroughly combat-tested system. Unlike many armored vehicles designed for deserts or plains, the CV90 was born from the snow-covered, forest-shrouded terrain of Scandinavia. It delivers mobility in deep winter conditions where rubberized roads disappear and where heavy-tracked vehicles often suffer breakdowns due to mechanical and cold-induced fatigue. Its chassis design preserves maneuverability in tight forest pathways, and the weight balance minimizes ground pressure, enabling it to traverse soft earth and marshland that would immobilize heavier armored systems. The sensory and data fusion capabilities of the CV90 also place it within a new generation of battlefield thinking. Equipped with advanced optics, thermal sensors, and battlefield management systems, it allows mechanized units to fight as nodes within a network, rather than isolated individual platforms. Even more importantly, the vehicle can be configured with active protection systems that can intercept incoming projectiles, as well as high-precision cannon and anti-armor capabilities that allow it to engage both enemy infantry and armored formations. In cold environment warfare, where visibility is often impaired and engagement distances can vary unpredictably with weather and terrain, situational awareness becomes the decisive factor. The CV90 is designed precisely for such conditions. The strategic innovation lies in how this vehicle is being acquired. Instead of Finland purchasing its fleet independently, Estonia and Latvia by their own route, and Sweden acting solely as supplier, the nations have agreed to approach the platform as a shared capability. Joint procurement reduces cost per vehicle because production quantities increase. More importantly, it standardizes configuration and ensures that one country's mechanics can service another's vehicles in a coalition operation. Spare parts become interchangeable across borders. Training cadres for vehicle crews can be pooled rather than duplicated. Maintenance schedules can be coordinated. Doctrine development can be unified. These factors collectively increase combat effectiveness more than any individual upgrade to the vehicle's armor or weaponry. This procurement initiative also catalyzes the creation of a common defense industrial baseline among the Nordic states. Sweden contributes vehicle design heritage through Hägglunds and Saab. Norway integrates remote weapon systems and advanced strike capabilities through Kongsberg. Finland lends powertrain engineering and armor manufacturing experience through Patria, and Denmark provides organizational and doctrinal integration, especially in NATO frameworks. The result is the emergence of a Scandinavian military-industrial cluster that is lean, adaptive, and specialized in northern warfare. Rather than competing, these nations are effectively co-authoring a shared military-industrial identity. The effect on Baltic and Arctic defense postures is profound. In a potential future conflict scenario, the ability to rapidly deploy mechanized infantry across Finland's forests, Sweden's coastal choke points, and Estonia's lowlands would fundamentally alter the mobility calculus of any adversary. Russia, which has long counted on geographic depth and armored mass, must now contend with a networked formation of light to medium armored platforms optimized for concealment, terrain exploitation, and ambush in complex environments. The CV90 is not a blunt instrument like a main battle tank. It is a scalpel for contested terrain. The messaging to Moscow is implicit but unmistakable. In the past, Russia might have assessed that a coercive pressure strategy could isolate individual Nordic states diplomatically or militarily. With joint CV90 procurement, such a strategy becomes less viable because the nations are locking themselves into logistical and operational interdependence. An attack on one becomes operationally equivalent to an attack on all, not merely by treaty obligation, but by systemic integration. The cooperative acquisition model also has long-term implications for NATO. Rather than waiting for large European powers to dictate standards, the Nordic group is establishing its own. As interoperability increases, these nations will be able to field combined mechanized brigades indistinguishable in equipment, training, and battlefield communication systems. That allows them to plug into NATO operational structures not as multiple small contributors, but as a cohesive regional force multiplier. Looking forward to the period between 2030 and 2035, evolution of the CV90 platform will likely include hybrid electric propulsion for quieter movement, weight-optimized composite armor, and more integrated sensor packages that fuse vehicle data with drone reconnaissance and satellite surveillance. Additionally, the vehicle may adopt cloud-based update architecture, allowing software adjustments during operations. In such a scenario, Nordic armored units would fight not only with standardized vehicles, but with synchronized data capabilities, enabling real-time tactical adaptation. It is also conceivable that joint procurement of the CV90 will serve as precedent for shared development of future systems, including Arctic-optimized drones, autonomous ground sensors, and snow-mobile-mounted anti-armor units. These innovations would collectively form a layered defense architecture uniquely suited for a northern confrontation environment. In strategic terms, this procurement program demonstrates that military strength today is not exclusively measured by top-line numbers or raw industrial outputs. It is measured by agility in procurement, unity of doctrine, integration of logistics, and foresight in industrial planning. The Nordic states, despite relatively modest populations and defense budgets compared to major powers, are turning these constraints into advantages through cooperative strategy. The CV90 thus becomes both symbol and instrument. It represents a mindset of quiet resilience. Nations that do not seek confrontation but prepare thoroughly should it come. It embodies strategic realism, understanding that deterrence rests not in rhetoric, but in credible and interoperable capability. And finally, it demonstrates a long-range vision, the belief that future conflicts will be won not by the largest force, but by the best integrated one. This joint acquisition is therefore not just a contract for armored vehicles. It is a declaration of a new era in Northern European defense thinking, where shared platforms catalyze shared planning, shared doctrine, and ultimately, shared security.